Hi guys. Hi Anna. Did you see my new emojis? You did? Oh, I can see you there, but I can't see. Give me 2 seconds there. Oh, everything looks alright here. Ah, there you are. I can see you now again. How are you all keeping? Arctic, I really enjoyed your live streams and stuff yesterday. I have you here on my screen later, just to mention. Guys, if you haven't followed Arctic Fox True Crime, will you go over and give him a sub? He's trying to get a community page going at the moment, and you can't get that. I think it's 500 subs that you might need to get it. And he's a good man with a good heart, and he's doing some good stuff over there. Hi, Gypsy. I don't think anybody is aware of any case, as they probably are of Summer. I did try. I was thinking today to try and move this up an hour. Because I seen Justin has another live scheduling with Josie or something, but I wasn't able to. And I just scheduled it anyway for a while, so better off to sticking with it. Thanks, Arctic, and guys, I don't know if you've seen, and there's probably a few listening in this chat, no doubt, but a few of the Twitter heads are weaseling their way off the YouTube, popping up on some channels, making their own channels, and Arctic was in one of the chats during the week that was kind of dragging me a small bit and giving out, and he couldn't take it. He jumped in and defended me and ended up getting banned and blocked. And guys, I know we are defensive of... But we are defensive of Brandy, of course we are, because we know what's going on. We know what they were trying to do. Like, their cards are out on the table now. There's no more pretending that they were looking into all kind of scenarios. But one of the other things that came out during the week, and I just want to talk about it and try and get ahead of it again. And I was actually on a live stream with Chats and Crime and Crime Lines and Lies. And I did mention that because I think they be communicating with kind of Brandy, and they were like, oh, Navillus, we know you were talking to Brandy. And I said, yeah. But all my communication with Brandy has been public. It's been in comments under videos or in live chats. I haven't talked to Brandy at all. And I think maybe I'm better off not, because I'll just keep my credibility kind of a small bit more. Don't get me wrong, when Monkey's home, I'm going to find my way off to Fruitland. You could drop me blindfolded anywhere inside that town. I've looked at the map so much, I'll find my way there. But one of the other things that is after coming out, or part of the leaks, is another clip, little snippet from Brandy having a conversation with Chris McDonough before she was on the show. Yeah, cat. We'll find a way there. I'm going to share my screen there now. Whoa, why is it like that? Guys, that's Arctic Fox's channel. I am subbed and I have my bell on. This is I go incognito when I'm on a stream so I don't get pop-ups. We need to get this man a community tab ASAP. Guys, I tell you, and I'm going to try and be obviously hopeful and positive, but when Monkey comes home, Fruitland will never see a party like it. But I want to... Oh, thanks, Kat. Oh, and thanks, Anna, as well. I'm just after... Guys, I want to... I have a plan for Super Chats. I just want to make it... Put it to kind of... some good use. And I think I kind of hinted at it last week. And I've one testing there now at the moment just to see if it will work. To see if I can do this sort of thing from a different country. And I just checked before the stream. And it doesn't have approval yet, so I'll definitely know for next week. And then I'll tell you all about it. Because I've been holding that back. I've been trying to tell people. But I just don't want to commit to something if I can't do it. Hi, Pandora. So I just want to go through. Before I go into that, I'll wait for my song. It's nearly over there now, look. That was good timing. There is a lot of misconceptions, I suppose, misunderstandings of polygraphs, lie detector tests. I think we're more prone to it than probably other people because we're not law enforcement and we can consume so much TV, so much daytime drama TV about that kind of stuff. So I just want to just quickly go back over a few things, why this is a complete pseudoscience. Same way people disagree with global warming or the earth being round. You're going to have people disagree with this, but it doesn't change the facts. So I put this video up. I don't know that much people watch it. I'm going to try to play it here without getting a copyright. But I just have a few bits. And then what I'm going to do is show you the snippet or the clip that they put out of Brandy talking to Chris. And then I want to show you clips of Chris talking. I mean, it's probably worth keeping in mind here now as well. And Chris will be fuming over that getting out there. Not at Brandy or anything, but just the fact that a private conversation that he was having is now out there as well. And trying to be twisted into something that it's not. So I have a timestamp. Where's that?
so...
Yeah, tell it to the lie detector, sicko.
Wait, really? You guys still use these?
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
Yeah, because they don't work at all. You didn't know this? The polygraph test is 100% old-timey pseudoscience. You know, back in the dark...
So I think what he's going to come up here now and say, back in the dark ages, they used to make people hold a hot kind of urn and be like, if that burns your hand, you're telling the lie. But is Sarah Me is there, yeah. And I when he's saying Sarah, no, the others might be the same, but I just know we seem to have a lot in common about our childhoods, despite being in a different country. But how many of you, when you were smaller, used to have your mother or your father say, stick out your tongue? If your tongue is black, you're lying. Aaron's there as well. I'm sure he can relate to this. The polygraph is basically the adult version of that. What do you do if you were a child and you weren't lying? They tried to trick you. Stick out your tongue. Your tongue is black, you're lying. You're angry, you're sticking out your tongue even more in their face. It's not. Because you're confident. It's not. Did you not ever hear that, Anna? That we have that over here. Tell little kids, little toddlers, that your tongue turns black if you tell a lie. So then if you're trying to interrogate them, find out what they did, you'd make them stick out their tongue. Sometimes they run away holding their mouth, thinking that they have a big black tongue. And then if they're telling the truth, they're up in your face, sticking out their tongue. And obviously, your tongue's not black. It's a complete myth. And it's the same with the polygraph. We give it way, way too much weight when it's 100% pseudoscience. It's a great tool. It's a great interrogation tool. That's about it.
Dark Ages, they would force criminals to hold a red-hot iron to see if it burned them. If it did, it meant you were lying.
State your name for the record. Lying already?
But the modern polygraph is just as ridiculous. Humans are complicated. The truth isn't something you can just detect with a machine.
Oh, yeah? And what's it detecting, buddy?
There's nothing you can get that's going to tell you whether someone is lying. It's impossible. And this is detecting basically 4 things in general. And think about what type of people might give off those signs or give off those
heartbeat, blood pressure, breathing, sweat.
characteristics.
Dirty, sweaty liar.
Heart beating, blood pressure, breathing, sweats. They're going to go in here and they're going to talk about all the people who fooled the polygraph and passed it. People just being cold as ice. And there's a lot. You can get a big long list of serial killers, murderers, whatever you want, people who've passed the polygraph. Don, Candace and Grandis passed the polygraph.
People can fail polygraphs just because they're sweaty or nervous, and all you have to do to beat the test is stay super chill and keep your heart rate down. Criminals do it all the time. Like,
he's going to go through a list of criminals. I'm trying not to get in trouble here, so I'm not going to play it.
All this is just your opinion.
Hate to break it to you, but even the inventor of the polygraph thought it was BS.
Hey, Slimeball, sit down or I'm calling for backup.
The only backup we'll need today is from scholarly sources.
Oh.
The polygraph was invented in 1921 by a medical student named John Larson.
I will never regret inventing this.
He would go on to regret inventing it. Larson.
So the guy that invented the polygraph was horrified by it. Not by it, but by the use of the police, the way they were using it, how they were interpreting it. And it was a complete regret.
became so horrified by law enforcement's unscientific use of his device, he would go on to call the machine a Frankenstein's monster.
Stop it! It's a lie! It's a lie!
Damn it.
But no one listened. And ever since, people have insisted that the polygraph can do, frankly, impossible things. In the late 1960s, a polygraph expert conducted tests on plants and concluded,
He basically concluded that plants have feelings.
Good gravy, this plant can feel emotions like pain and fear.
The plant can feel fair.
instead of the more obvious conclusion,
Good gravy, this machine is a piece of garbage that goes off randomly.
Okay, pea-brain, if it's garbage, why do so many people trust it?
This is important. Why do so many people trust it?
yeah, I wonder why.
They say that she's cooperating, but when the mom won't take a polygraph, to me that raises a red flag.
He's lying.
During your relationship, have you ever had sexual intercourse with another woman? You said no. The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
The media has pushed the infallibility of the lie detector so hard that now everyone believes in it, even though it just straight up doesn't work. And this thing is still embedded in our legal system.
So he goes on about the legal system there, and I think some states still use it for probable cause. Absolute nonsense.
Massachusetts uses it to establish probable cause. Florida requires sex offenders to take the test. Combined, government agencies test over 70,000 people a year with this century-old piece of pseudoscience.
Listen, Conover, you want to know the truth? We know it doesn't work. We just use it to trick gullible criminals who think it works into giving confessions. Are you happy now?
Yeah, I am.
And that's the truth. Like, if you know anyone in law enforcement, just go and ask them. They'll tell you all about it. Like, I think Chris McDonough would know all about it. We can all have our opinions of him, but there's no one can argue with his experience in his career and the things he has seen. So I'm going to go back. Just going to go back here now, and I'm going to play the audio that was leaked from Brandy's pre-interview with Chris. And it was just a clip. It's just a 2-minute, 20-second clip. There's no context. It's clipped off conveniently at the end to be able to tell what Chris is about to tell Brandy. And then I want to play Chris from his actual stream, because whatever about me coming up here telling you anything, but listen to him.
When he did his first polygraph, that one FBI agent and the Idaho State Police kind of became Tyler's handler for a little while.
Sorry guys, that was my fault there. I'm going to start it again.
When he did his first polygraph, that one FBI agent and the Idaho State Police kind of became Tyler's handler for a little while. I want to say he's a sergeant. I'm sure, I can't remember. I get mixed up between sergeant, captain, chief. I know chief is the highest, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's called Pretzel Boy.
But after Tyler did the first one, Tyler down there flipped the table over, apparently, and this is what I was told.
Tyler flipped the table?
He almost did. Because he was upset at the fact that he failed, because he was like, there's no way in hell I did nothing to my son. And then he had to actually physically hold Tyler to calm him down because he was so erratic. Like, do it again. Like, this is wrong. There's no way.
Right.
And, Even that one FBI agent that I wanted to punch in the face. Told Tyler, they're like, we can see how those questions, and especially your state of mind, are misleading or misdirecting, or basically it was like misleading. So that's why he did another one.
Okay. And did he pass that second question?
Yes.
Or they rewrote it?
As far as I know, I don't know. I can't say for sure how that happened, but I do know that they said they will not be giving him another polygraph. So.
Okay. Did they come out and tell him though you passed the second one? Not that it means anything. I don't want you caught in the public's eye. Okay. Don't answer that. Here's how you answer that question.
I don't, as I was waiting for him. So the first polygraph test, they came and picked him up and took him 45 minutes away.
I'm going to go back over that there now and stop it. And just go through kind of little bits and pieces of it. But this is obviously what, and these guys have been popping up on YouTube during the week, popping on channels who don't have a brain cell between them. And like I said last week, anyone pushing that's all they're doing is pushing nonsense out. Has anyone come up with a viable scenario where this can possibly happen in that amount of time? No. I've asked people last week. Don't engage with some of these people. They're asking me to. I don't even want to talk about it. But the only thing I want to engage on is tell me a scenario. Show me a scenario where you can possibly fit that in the time. Or anything nefarious in that time. And you can't. So instead we're going to clip up calls and throw these out there. And why do you think? Like, look at Brandy and Tyler coming out saying this to Chris. They're not holding nothing back from Chris. Because they trust him. They didn't have to say any of that stuff. I want to play it again, but I'm going to stop a few times here and just point a few things out. And then I want to go on to what Chris said on his stream.
When he did his first polygraph, that one FBI agent and the Idaho State Police kind of became Tyler's handler for a little while. I want to say he's a sergeant. I'm sure, I can't remember. I get mixed up between sergeant, captain, chief. I know chief is the highest, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's called Brother Boy.
But after Tyler did the first one, Tyler down there flipped the table over, apparently, and this is what I was told.
Tyler flipped the table?
He almost did.
I seen in the chats as well being like, oh my God, there's anger issues. He flipped the table over. That's proof. If you had me in a room and you're telling me that this machine here in the corner is telling me that I had something got to do with my son's disappearance, you're guaranteed I'll flip that table over. It's the quiet ones you want to be worried about. And Chris knows that as well. And again, just go back and look at the timeline. Look at the facts.
Because he was upset at the fact that he failed, because he was like, there's no way in hell I did nothing to my son. And then he had to actually physically hold Tyler to calm him down because he was so erratic. Like, do it again. Like, this is wrong. There's no way.
Right.
And even that one FBI agent that I wanted to punch in the face, Well, Tyler, they're like, we can see how those questions, and especially your state of mind, are misleading.
State of mind there now, they're just talking about Tyler and his own guilt around this. Not because he did anything wrong, because he thinks he did something wrong.
Okay.
It's called Brother Boy.
But after Tyler did the first one, Tyler down there flipped the table over, apparently, and this is what I was told.
Tyler flipped the table?
He almost did. Because he was upset at the fact that he failed, because he was like, there's no way in hell I did nothing to my son. And then he had to actually physically hold Tyler to calm him down because he was so erratic. Like, do it again. Like, this is wrong. There's no way.
Right.
And even that one FBI agent that I wanted to punch in the face, told Tyler, they're like, we can see how those questions, and especially your state of mind, are misleading or misdirecting, or basically it was like misleading. So that's why he did another one.
Okay. And did he pass that second question?
Yes.
Or they rewrote it?
And Chris is very good here now and gives Brandy some great advice, and you can get a small insight. So obviously, and guys, of course they're going to shake Tyler upside down again and again. Like, do you think I haven't looked at this countless times, and I'm sure you have as well? I'm sure many people have who were in this case and be like, is it possible? And then you're like, it's not. You come back again. But they're not ruling anything. That's their job. That's their job.
As far as I know, I don't know.
So obviously then we have Tyler worked up in the room. They put him on it again, and they're like, this just doesn't work for you. Good luck. We're not going to ask you to do this again. And then Brandy's taking that as, oh, he passed it and that was okay. But Chris goes in here and he just asks Brandy, he's like, Brandy, did they tell you that exactly? Like, did they tell you that? And he gives her some advice because he knows the way the public are and he knows how people are going to pick up on that.
I can't say for sure how that happened, but I do know that they said they will not be giving him another polygraph. So.
Okay, did they come out and tell him though you passed? The second one. Not that it means anything. I'm just.
Not that it means anything.
I don't want you caught in the public's eye.
And so that's good advice. That's Chris now trying to look after Brandy and make sure that she doesn't get caught in the public's eye, like he was saying.
Not that it means anything. I don't want you caught in the public's eye. Okay, don't answer that. Here's how you answer.
So he said there, don't answer that. Here's how you answer that. And then the clip gets cut. And I think Chris probably will address this. I know he was, he said on a live stream afterwards, I think he was on to Brandy after all this kind of stuff started coming out. I think he's just maybe taking some time to.
Okay, don't answer that. Here's how you answer that question.
I don't, as I was waiting for him. So the first polygraph test, they came and picked him up and took him 45 minutes away.
So let's have a look at Chris's stream. After that, after the conversation with Brandy, after he called the Fruitland police. Just to quickly remind people. Chris McDonough is a nationally recognised homicide investigator who's been guest on Oprah, Dr. Phil, Court TV, blah, 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 numerous other television, radio programmes. He is an expert in death investigation, interview, criminal behaviour analysis. He has been honoured to train Native American Homicide Task Force members and part of the Cold Case Foundation. Chris has been serving in public safety since 1982. He spent nearly 25 years in the police department in Southern California, including 13 years as a homicide detective. He has investigated and solved hundreds of homicides and consulted nationally on some of the country's highest profile child homicide and kidnapping investigators, including John Benet Ramsey, Elizabeth Smart, who I'll talk about at the end actually. Oh, it's all there. You all know. You can all read that yourself.
To be victimized. Tonight, I have with me Brandy Neal, mother of Michael Vaughan.
Chris has lovely piano music as well, doesn't he?
And so, but this is a really good family. And I spoke with the authorities today in Fruitland, Idaho. And Brandy has agreed to come on, like she has on a couple other stations and programs, to talk about her little guy. And so we're going to do that tonight. We're going to talk about.
Okay, so there's just 3 parts of this I want to show you guys. You should all check this out as well. I think it has nearly 50,000 views, which is great. So Chris spoke to the police department before he had Brandy on and in between that interview.
Yeah.
That's
long
a lot.
time.
Okay. So help me understand.
Sorry.
Let's get to know Brandy in terms of what you feel comfortable with. And at any time, because we talked, at any time, if you need to say, you know what, I'm going to take a pass on that one. It doesn't mean there's anything hidden or anything like that. Let's get that out in the. I like to make sure that everybody understands that you guys have no hidden.
SS, that was the Twitter Weasels and Silly Goosey.
Agenda. You have been 100% cooperative with the cops, with the FBI, with the card team, with everything going on, even up into polygraphs. Everything is all cooperation, 100% with the authorities. Okay, so I can say that, and people will go, "Well, that's a couple of questions we wanted answered right away," because it's true. Okay. I spoke to the authorities today at Fruitland Police Department, as you know. Okay. And you're good to go. Everything's moving in the right direction. The investigation is ongoing, 1,000 miles an hour. These guys and gals are 100% committed to helping find little monkey. Okay. That said, okay, let's get to know you just a little. And I already.
Did you get that?
Abducted. Okay. Every indication is he was abducted.
What was that?
So,
sorry, Chris, could you just say that again?
Mom and Tyler is his dad. Okay. But for your own internal sake, do the right thing. Do the right thing. This is a little boy. He's 5 years old. Okay. 5 years old. And every indication right now is he was abducted. Okay. Every indication is he was abducted. So, we need to respond correctly as a community. We need to find our moral compass. We need to find our moral compass. And so mom can get the hugs that she deserves. Okay. We need to do that. Okay.
So I'm going to actually play that again because I'm after playing that call a few times, and I think it's worth knowing who Chris is, knowing his experience. You could hear on the call the advice he was trying to give Brandy. He was talking to the Fruitland Police Department after that. And do you think he's not looked into this himself, or is going to give a platform if you think something nefarious is going on course now?
Really good family. And I spoke with the authorities today in Fruitland, Idaho. And Brandy has agreed to come on, like she has on a couple other stations and programs, to talk about her little guy. And so we're going to do that tonight. We're going to talk about you feel comfortable with, and at any time, because we talked, at any time, if you need to say, you know what, I'm going to take a pass on that one. It doesn't mean there's anything hidden or anything like that. Let's get that out in the, I like to make sure that everybody understands that you guys have no hidden agenda. You have been 100% cooperative with the cops, with the FBI, with the card team, with everything going on. Even up into polygraphs, everything is all cooperation, 100% with the authorities. Okay, so I can say that, and people will go, "Well, that's a couple of questions we wanted answered right away," because it's true. Okay, I spoke to the authorities today at Fruitland Police Department, as you know. Okay. And you're good to go. Everything's moving in the right direction. The investigation is ongoing, 1,000 miles an hour. These guys and gals are 100% committed to helping find little monkey. Okay. That said, okay, let's get to know you just a little.
And the last one. Well, this is a long interview, guys. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. But these are the points I want to show you, considering that call was before this interview.
That looked and you believe could be monkey, call 911. Please, not only for the sake of this mom and Tyler is his dad, okay, but for your own internal sake, do the right thing. Do the right thing. This is a little boy. He's 5 years old. Okay, 5 years old. And every indication right now is he was abducted. Okay. Every indication is he was abducted. So, we need to respond correctly as a community. We need to find our moral compass.
And that's important. We need to respond correctly as a community. We need to find our moral compass. Because, guys, whatever about me spotting things and spotting rumors coming down the line, you can be sure Chris has been around the block and seen this 100 times. And those channels that are going on blasting this stuff out, shame on you, like.
We need to find our moral compass, and so mom can get the hugs that she deserves. Okay, we need to do that. Okay. All right, so the investigation kicks into full gear, and I'm going to go back to the John Walsh effect. Okay.
Do you know what? I'm going to keep going here a little bit. He's talking about the John Walsh effect. He's talking about one parent kind of coming out and taking the lead when it comes to social media and stuff.
You are basically chosen, by the universe to become the voice of your family and tell the world. Right. It's not that anybody's hiding or if there's anything behind the scenes, and even at some point, I'm sure they'll see the reality of that.
Right. Correct.
When the timing's right. So, okay. And so we're gonna fast forward now. It's been 203 days, right? July 27th, 6:30 p.m. Okay. But for you, it's actually closer to noon because you had to go to work.
I won't play too much because I don't want to take any views. I wanted to play those 3 clips of Chris after that interview talking about calling the Fruitland police, talking about some of the stuff that they told him, talking about his own opinion and experience, and talking about the community finding a moral compass when it comes to this sort of thing. And that's why I wanted to get this stuff out of the way kind of here today, because I seen two or three streams on it. Silly Goosey has our channel set up, and no doubt more of this stuff will be popping out, but it's just nonsense. And I think they thought that like people aren't going to talk about it or be white to it or anything. There's no big dark secret there. Did you see Brandy trying to hold anything back in that interview before with Chris? No, because she knows his experience. She knows what he's like. She knows he knows this stuff. It's just nonsense. I'm going to play my piano again. I am jealous of Chris's one. He's a lovely one, isn't he? Did I see Lana in the chat? Lana, I can see you there in the chat. I popped you an email today. Do you know what? I'll just reply to you there. Oh. Give me 30 seconds there, guys. I just respond to something quickly. Guys, 139 people. Thank you all so much. I didn't think I'd have much inside here tonight because of Pinocchio's interview. I feel you on that, Arctic, and I think you touched on it last night as well. They must be like, I've thought about the mistakes that I've made in past videos when I'm going to sleep at night and get a bit embarrassed and cringe about it. Can you imagine trying to go to sleep for the rest of your life? You made that mistake. Just trying to have some empathy for them. Obviously, they had no idea what could happen, but it's some lesson. It's some lesson for anyone who knows this case or has been in that to never take your eyes off a child walking back in. And I'd say, I said it in past streams, if you're dropping someone home late at night, girlfriend, mother, sister, whatever, don't take your eyes off them till they're in their front door. Lana, I just sent the link to your email. You might have to go into Safari to open it. It doesn't work in Chrome, but it's very straightforward. It must be. It must be tough for the neighbours, especially even seeing Brandy and Tyler and the other kids kind of passing on the street every day. Or obviously, it's nowhere near as tough as what the family is going through. But I'd like to think it could. Well, I'd like to think it wouldn't happen to me, but who knows, guys? Maybe it could. It definitely won't know after a case like this and a lesson like that. Oh, I have you here, Lana. Hi, Lana.
Hi, Navi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. How are you keeping?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. I'm not sure. I just seen you in the chat there. I'm not sure if my chat know who you are or what you kind of do or anything. Do they? Will you tell them?
Talk about who I am and what I do?
Yeah. I don't think the chat realised that you were that you're doing some work in this case.
Yeah, a little bit. I grew up in Payette, so for those that have been following the case at all, Payette is the neighboring rival school to Fruitland. So us Payette Pirates fought the Fruitland Grizzlies every year.
There's an echo coming in. Do you have YouTube open in the background?
Do I have what?
YouTube open in the background. If you could just get rid of YouTube, if you were able to watch it directly through StreamYard, maybe.
Is it gone?
Is the echo gone, guys?
Is the echo gone, guys? I also have my earbuds in. Is it better now?
I never had an echo, so it was just on in the chat.
I have all windows closed.
Oh, you're perfect. So go on. It might be on my settings here. Chat away.
Okay, so we're good now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have everything closed. Okay. Is that better, everyone?
That's perfect.
Okay, so to start back, I grew up in Payette, neighboring town to Fruitland. So when Michael first went missing last summer, of course, being small town and connected through Facebook, I saw a lot of posts, a lot of things, and people that I went to school with, sharing. Michael looks a lot like my youngest son. When he was little, he's now 20. Yeah, he was blonde hair, blue eye, just like that. And then what really tugged at me was just the rambunctious little boy that, escaped the house. And I also, I lived right next to an elementary school when mine were that age, right there in Payette. And they got out the door all the time and went over to the playground to play. And since I work in marketing and PR professionally, I just connected with the Facebook community group that I saw many of my friends had connected to, and just looked for opportunities to, help share information to help find Michael. as more and more interviews started to come out more towards the fall, I saw one of the former FBI agents, speak out on the News Nation interview with Brandy about the lack of Amber Alert for Michael. And she called it a bureaucratic decision on the Idaho State Police part. And that really stuck with me. And that's really kind of what fired me up a little bit to want to do more in regards to that. So I started to investigate the Amber Alert itself. I mean, I knew the history of it, starting with Amber Hagerman. I already knew that story. But I looked more into just the procedures, the policies, other states that have cried out for reform, other families that didn't get an alert. And then I started to reach out to Brandy a little bit and say, hey, I've heard you speak on this, and I don't know if you really, feel passionate about it or not, but I think we can work together and do something. And she and Tyler both said yes. They both feel that Michael was cheated by utilizing that system. So, or not utilizing that system. So we started kind of working together to try to see if we can make something happen so that more awareness, comes from that, as well as changing it for Idaho and all children that are little and deserve an Amber Alert when they when they disappear.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of kind of even misconception around there. I've heard it a few times. People being like, oh, the LE didn't want one. I was like, the LE pushed, as far as I know, twice that night for one.
Yes, as far as I know as well, they did request it. From, the response, which I put out on social media, and I can share in the comments later, I did get, many of us emailed, many people emailed locally to Idaho State Police, people who heard about it on Twitter emailed and was like, we don't agree with this decision. And everyone got the same, response from the public information officer. And that just fired us up even more. But there's so much criteria that they're standing behind, and they're saying, there's no proof of an abduction, essentially, that law enforcement didn't feel there was a need for it. Even their response said that. And I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense to me, because Fruitland Police have said they asked for it, I think. And how can they come back and say that he's not in need of that, or, withhold that type of a system in helping to recover him safely and quickly? With just a lot of questions, a lot of room to make a difference. So as of today, we just heard about, which is really exciting news. I haven't been able to share with many people. I did call Brandy, but Senator Abby Lee proposed a bill today for the House committee that is inspired by Michael Vaughan, and it is to start some reform over all missing people alert systems in Idaho, the whole system in totality. And because it passed today, it now goes to the House for review and debate. And if it passes that, then it goes to the governor. And it's a fiduciary type thing where it's budget related and more money into the systems and helping the systems. But it definitely paves the way for, more reform in our state, at least, and at least paves the way for more reform for Amber Alert as well.
Yeah, I was having a look of it in the very first video that I did on Monkey, on Michael, and even in that I was talking about Amber Alerts, and a lot of my videos before that were on Summer Wells, so I was trying to talk about Summer to kind of sucker some of the audience in from Summer Wells to get some views on Michael, on Monkey.
Yeah.
And even just looking at the criteria there, they're so different in Tennessee and Ohio. I think with Ohio as well, they came back to, isn't it, afterwards they have and they're all recommended criteria. It's nothing meant to be set in stone at all.
No, it's not. That's where we started to get really kind of worked up and asked questions, just as, citizens following this case, because the National Amber Alert website, and anyone can go and read, the FAQ page. And, the terms are used like, suggested guidelines or things like that. And the only real requirement that I can find anywhere is that law enforcement must feel that the child is endangered and missing and requests the alert to be initiated, which is what happened at the local level. And from what we have found out, it was stopped at the state level when Idaho State Police decided it didn't meet criteria.
Yeah, and then once the 12-hour passes, I think that's a difference between even in Ohio and Tennessee, that they have that 12-hour, because Tennessee is
correct.
very loose with their Amber Alerts. So loose, it kind of makes me, and I know people, like, my own feeling is the Amber Alerts are outdated, that it was designed in a time that social media didn't exist. It does now, so I think there's some sort of reform or something that can be done differently. And
Correct. And I found out and did not know also, Navi, on the Amber Alert National website, if you go, there's actually already in place, it's a secondary Amber Alert that can be issued that goes out through Google, Facebook, and all social media platforms. That's already in place. It says on their website, they have this technology in place as a secondary alert system, subsequent to the first Amber Alert, if necessary. So to me, that should almost be a first now that we're all on social media. So there's definitely room for improvement because it is an old system, old program.
And then you have some states being tight with it, not wanting to desensitize people, and then other states are sending them out willy-nilly. And I know obviously they're all important, but like there is some, like how many times have we seen, even in Tennessee in the last 6 months, kids that wandered away and came back and got the Amber Alert? Do you know, they were just in the woods or something. I can think of 3 there off the top of my head. And there was no problem with the Amber Alert going out, nothing at all, kind of like that. But I do think maybe they're doing it a bit too much, that it will just desensitize the people of Tennessee, because you know yourself, if you get one or two a year, it's going to kind of, you want that kind of shock effect. But the other one is when I looked at this and when I first seen the roads, I was like, oh my God, like is this not what the Amber Alerts were made for?
Right. Well, and then the issue with this, if you look at the missing person alerts and things that went out, they were district and county-wide, I believe. The problem for the moderators and admins of like the community support group is that still to this day, people from this valley, from what we're looking at, come to that group and say they have never heard of this story. You know, people in neighboring states around the Pacific Northwest in Montana, Washington, Oregon, just one state away, never heard of this story. And that's where the Amber Alert does reach more. And I agree with the potential risk of desensitization. That is the purpose. That is, you know, you don't want to have it ignored. You don't want to have people turning it off on their phones. But like how Brandy and Tyler feel, and like what they both said to me was, when it comes to little kids, there's got to be maybe an age cap, you know, 8 and under, 10 and under, something where, you know, a small child disappears in an area like this. Every available communication system we have should be enacted, not just, you know, somebody picking where they're going to send an alert. We should put it all out there and find the little one. So we're just trying to ask questions, and get it looked at.
Don't you have those big kind of signs on the roads as well that goes up for the Amber Alert, giving kind of alerts out on the highways?
I believe they are tied to the digital boards as well. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And we, when I say we, I mean the community group, not I specifically, but there was a lot of members in the area that came together and got boards donated for Michael. So there are digital, you know, billboards all over the Treasure Valley. The first time I saw one, I'm in LA right now for work, but I was sitting in a, you know, red light in Meridian, and I saw Michael's billboard and I started crying, because it's just so huge to get his face out there more. Yep. And especially when statistics show that, you know, abducted children are usually found very close to home. It's very, very important to keep his face out there locally as well.
And it must be, like you said, that for people to be coming into that group to be so local and not have known about it must be pretty shocking. Like,
it is, especially 8 months after. Yeah, 8 months in, and people are still learning about Michael for the first time.
Well, hopefully they'll learn the right things if they're kind of coming into the case now. That's why I was trying to get ahead of a lot of the kind of stuff that's coming out. But and that all hurts it as well. And I was talking about the last live stream, I think, like, with all these rumors and silly, stupid things, it's stopping people from sharing his poster, from sharing his face. It will just give people that little bit of hesitation, you know, which is so
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. I have tried my best to not get involved with some of this stuff. I've slipped and also, you know, been reactive as well, when the focus has to be about finding Michael. And what this kind of stuff does is it's so distracting, not just the people that are there to support, but it's distracting to the family. And they think it's, you know, almost humorous that they're putting pressure and going to cause the pipes to break or whatever. But what it's doing is it's causing more trauma to victims. And like you just said a minute ago, we have to look at ourselves as a society and how we respond to these situations. And growing up neighboring to Fruitland and Payette with the police officer father, like I mentioned, he was very big on, you believe the victim until, you know, believe and support the victim until the evidence shows otherwise. And that's the stance I will take, is supporting the family and supporting them publicly, you know, and in any way that we can, we should support them. And when this drama goes on social media, it further affects them in the way that just last week, the kids, Kira and Ben, were bullied at school because of this stuff. And there was having to get, you know, teachers and parents and things involved. And that's not right. And when they want to go out and do public events and be in public spaces, they are petrified because of these people. And it's not that they're feeling guilty and they're scared to go out and talk about Michael. No, Brandy and Tyler want to go out and talk about Michael. It is that there are people out there that have no moral compass when it comes to humans and what they are enduring during a trauma like this.
I can't believe that about the kids. That's horrible. That's disgusting.
Yes.
That they have to go through that.
Yes. Yes, it is. And to hear that. And that's where the distraction comes from, because, you know, not only as parents, they have 3 other children to care for. They have jobs, they have lives. They're trying to also, you know, maintain their mental stability through this so they can stay focused and bring their son home and then heal everyone.
I don't.
So
no one can imagine what. Well, there is a handful of people that know what it's like, but I can't imagine what that is like going through that. Brandy was saying in a previous live stream as well that she was leaving one press conference and someone followed her home. Someone turned up to her work as well.
I heard about that. Yes, I heard about that. Someone followed her home, and there was just I remember. So the first time I met the family in person was a Christmas Eve vigil, and we were loading a big giant speaker box into the back of Brandy's vehicle in their driveway to go to this event. And it's heavy and we're lifting it, and she just stops and freezes. And I'm like, what is she looking at? I turn around and there's just a car driving down the road, you know, but Brandy was like petrified, frozen. And I said, do you do that to every car that drives down the street? And she said, I do now. And it literally just, every vehicle that goes by, everyone that comes by, everywhere they go, there's posters of Michael. And that's good. It is great, and they want everyone talking about Michael, and yet that's all you see and relive over and over until your child is home.
Yeah, and even some of the stuff Brandy was saying about how if she was looking at the other kids and seeing them smile, and she smiled for a second, then she'll suddenly feel a guilt for smiling.
Yes, I mean, you know, trying to feel happy. So many, like, look at Christmas, for example. So much of the community came together. The law enforcement came together. People were trying to do as much as they could to wrap their arms around them and comfort them and give, you know, like law enforcement gave the kids presents. And you try to sit and enjoy, you know, that moment, and one's not there.
Yeah, you can't.
And you have to imagine, are they getting presents? Are they being fed breakfast? Does he even realize it's Christmas today? You know, you have all of these thoughts that go through your mind. And then, yeah, her oldest daughter, she's been very open and shared that. Her daughter had said to her at one point, you know, Mom, we can't feel bad for feeling sad or feeling happy or something to that degree. You know, Kira was like, we have to be allowed to be happy sometimes too. And you know, that's a hard realization for a mom. You know, she's trying to give her children moments of happiness as well when their whole family is just gutted right now.
I can't imagine. And then Brandy was talking about how she was working part-time. She's trying to look after the kids. She's putting posters up every chance she can get.
Yes.
And then someone have a pop-up a pop at her because she didn't respond to an email. I was like, who do you think you are?
I saw, I was shared a clip, or I heard a talk or a video or something, an audio clip that was shared to me of somebody that got really upset because they had traveled from out of state and to come up and join searches or something. I believe it was around the time when the searches were happening. And they might not have been, so I could be wrong, but regardless, they came up, don't know the family, just came to volunteer, to be a good person, spent their own money, and then got emotional and started crying because Brandy didn't respond to their message on Messenger. And they wanted to get posters and bracelets and awareness materials before going back. And this woman had Brandy apologizing to her. And I was so mortified about that. I was like, how can you even expect this mother to get back to everyone? How can she be expected to respond to every interview request or even choose to do every interview? I have even advised her she doesn't need to. That is so much emotion to go through, that she needs to be able to choose the most effective interviews so she can save her own energy to take care of herself and her family.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about as well, because it was before, that was the interview that I was talking about, but before that, there was another woman had a pop off Brandy because I think she asked her questions on the timeline and Brandy didn't get back to her. I was like, why you dragging
There's
all
a
this
lot of
stuff
that.
up?
There's a lot of people who I fully believe are well-intentioned and want to help, and many of them have reached out to me privately after I spoke on one of these spaces recently, because they want to help with the media and they want to help with the Amber Alert and they want to find Michael. But I think a lot of it is also just an entitlement. How dare she not respond to my message? And that's not right, because she doesn't know these people, and with how her trust has been broken and her child has been stolen and her family has been violated, it's absurd for anyone to expect her to respond to them timely, if at all.
Yeah. And the arrogance of the people getting bad at Brandy then because of it. But how does she, have you talked to her, Brandy, about that? Like, how does she navigate this going forward? Because I assume in the last couple of weeks she's probably had people reach out to her and got some good advice on that sort of stuff as well.
She does, and I actually spoke to her today when we heard that the bill by Senator Lee passed the floor, and she got off work and she was just in tears. She was so happy, and she was calling on her family and telling them about this, and super excited. They are getting ready to attend a big public family-friendly event coming up that they're going to have a bunch of volunteers with awareness materials and things. So I think she's coming into a good headspace. She is exhausted, to say the least. I could hear it in her voice, even when she was trying to laugh. It was just out of exhaustion. Yeah. And she's really trying. I've told her to stay away from social media, and I think really it comes down to how else is she going to find her son? She trusts law enforcement. She's trusting this process. She's trusting the agencies, but she's also, she's gone out and walked the field. She's putting out posters and she's working, and Tyler's going out and, he's working, and what else can they do? Social media is the place where she can go to connect to larger audience. She wasn't a social media person before this, yeah. She barely posted a few, pictures of family and what was going on. And now this is her way to feel like she can connect and help, and now it's turning on her.
Yeah. But I think most of the stuff now, and most of that, one thing, YouTube is a lot cleverer than Twitter. Like, people will cop onto that stuff kind of very fast. Or people's kind of motives behind it. So I think a lot of that stuff won't fly here the way it would kind of fly on Twitter land.
Twitter's definitely its own monster, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I knew from listening to some of them early on, like come here, if I thought, and I've constantly kind of looking at this stuff, and obviously I have no idea compared to the LA or the FBI, but if I thought there was a second that there was something there, I'd talk about it. I'd say it. I'd have no bother not going after, but talking about uncomfortable stuff or talking about it if parents were involved, because in most cases they aren't, but in this case they're not. They're just not. I had a live stream.
Well, and I looked into a little more of that too, like the statistics on abductions myself, just looking through Amber Alert, and I might be off a percentage or two because I don't have this information in front of me, but I did look at, like, you know, the National Missing and Exploited Children, Polygraphs Foundation site, several nationally, you know, organizations that work in this field. And statistically speaking, the parental abductions are usually around 49% of childhood abductions, and that's usually when there's a custody issue going on. And the other percentage is, you know, like 29-30% is acquaintances, and then like a 25% stranger abduction. So half are parental involvement and the other half is someone else. So that's really where the statistics are at when it comes to that.
I did a live stream where we were looking at a few kind of different press conferences. Cleo Smith's parents were in there, Brandy, Camry Holland and Candice Wells. And even in that live stream, as we were going through Cleo Smith's parents' first interview, and this was after Cleo was found, after they got the guy, all that stuff, still in that live stream, there was people commenting saying her father was involved. It was like, guys, this is done. This is done and dusted. They know the guy. But because he was kind of took a backseat and the mother was kind of out there talking.
Yeah.
I know about her kind of throwing her out there then in comments, but I think you're always kind of gonna. You're always going to see it.
Unfortunately, it usually is. You know, there was just a case not too long ago in Boise. A little boy, Robert Manuel. I don't know how far you followed these kinds of cases, but it was a situation with a mother and her boyfriend, and you know, little boy went missing, and he unfortunately was found, you know, killed. But then there's also those cases in Northern Idaho. This was a long time ago, where Joseph Duncan, you know, drove off of a main road and saw the Grony children playing in their swimsuits in the pool in the backyard, and returned later to kidnap the two younger Grony children after murdering the mother, boyfriend, and older brother. So, you know, it's both sides of the coin to these children, unfortunately. And as a community, I think when this happens, we have to first and foremost, you know, wrap our arms around the family and figure out how we can help support them and what we can do, especially in a case when the child is still out there, you know, and there's people thinking it's comical to leak information that is pertinent to an ongoing investigation and a safe recovery of a child because it's somehow humorous is absolutely appalling to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It would make you wonder how they don't have this cop on. How they aren't able to see the damage that they're kind of doing.
I don't know, but I see it because I've stepped up a little more from what I was doing in my volunteer work to try to help more because of this, and because of the distractions that it causes, and even this conversation today, it's going to be sliced up and cut up, and they're going to go to town on, you know, the family PR spokesperson again and do whatever. And at the end of the day, I don't care, because what's comical is majority of their followers in these talks are messaging me, and they've already joined the group, and they're trying to find out how they can really help because they were misinformed on what was going on in the Amber Alert. I've heard these talks, and I've heard them say that Brandy can just sign a piece of paper and get an Amber Alert. And that is absolutely false. People out there saying those kinds of statements as if to mock her, like she's holding it up as though the mother stopped the Amber Alert from happening. That's ridiculous. And when they learned that that was not true, they reached out and asked how they could help. So it's about getting the actual information out there and about trying to come together and be supportive and cut through the clutter of this drama.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I haven't heard them talk about when I did listen to some of the streams is nobody is mentioning the roads. Nobody is mentioning how the schools across the road or how this is a prime target area. Nobody's mentioned the photographs that were uploaded in July in the park. Like there's no focus on that. They're talking about nonsense.
Well, I saw a post about the Google images that were up. Yeah. I saw that shared around some social media posts. you know, and I don't know. I mean, I've not followed the case enough about like you have, or even some of these other groups when it comes to the technical, you know, components about like the timelines and things like that. I really haven't. But when it comes to the roads around that county, I grew up there.
Yeah.
And
So you know.
you can go, yeah, no, I know, because how do you think we got from one part to the other without driving on the main roads and without our parents finding out, you know? Right there, all of these fields have little back roads that can take you. I mean, you could go from Fruitland to Weiser pretty much without driving on a main road. It's possible.
It's frightening.
Possible. Yes.
Like, I haven't seen more. Maybe there's one exist. I asked people in the last one. I was like, guys, if you can show me an area that is better suited for this sort of thing, like send it on, you know? Because I'd like to see somewhere that has a school district across the road, a park with photographs uploaded like that, and most importantly, just the easy access to the road. Like 2 turns there, you're fine.
Well, and then, you know, like I think was asked before, I don't know where or if police confirmed it, but like if you come out of the subdivision, what you're showing here, if the person were to take a left, you know, they're going to go toward town, you know, and they're going to be passing all kinds of businesses. But if they were to go right, if they did take the main road, or a person to anyone leaving, you go right and you don't pass as many businesses. You don't have as many opportunities for cameras, and the freeway is just right over there, you know?
It's frightening.
So yeah.
It's frightening how fast they can be gone. And that's why, like, even with the Amber Alert, that first 12 hours, like, if they could have gotten something out to the road here and the signs, that's the gut.
Well, that's where we feel that Michael was robbed in this situation. The parents Brandy and Tyler are so devastated by that, and they do feel that we might be dealing with having completely different discussions had that alert been utilized. You know, and we'll never know because it's over with. All we can do is try to fix something now and try to change this now and try to use this to gain more media exposure for Michael, because he is still out there, and it does take, you know, the controversy, unfortunately, and talking about Amber Alert reform and these kids that are being robbed of the systems that are in place to help save them is what's going to help us to get their faces out there. So we'll use it.
Definitely. What do you think is, like, what do you think even people listening to this now can do to try and help? I know all my guys are sharing their posters, but is there a specific?
Well, yeah, so we're going to put out some more calls to action in the group, which I will link in the comments. If anyone's listening right now that's in that community group, could just link it for me while I'm talking, it would be awesome. But when I get off, I'll link it myself. But in the community group, we are keeping people informed of, you know, where you can get posters, where you can get yard signs, where you can get bracelets. Yeah, some volunteers are tracking that map with the red pins there. That's a couple of volunteers. They've taken regions across the state, these volunteers, and are tracking where everyone has put posters up. We have, you know, events that'll be talked about in there. And then as well, when it comes to the Amber Alert, I personally post contacts and information and emails, and that will be forthcoming as well, because considering the bill passed the House today and the parents are going to be meeting with the congressman soon, this is when we're going to have calls to action to say, please, please, please support this family and, you know, pass these bills and look into this Amber Alert. So those calls to action will be coming out in our group shortly as well.
Brilliant. I've just sent that in there, and I think Sherry has the link there as well. So guys, make sure you give that group what is it? It's not even a follow, is it? You joined the group on Facebook, isn't it? Yeah.
Join the group. It was started by some community members in Fruitland. Brooke Amber is the admin that launched it and monitors it, and then a handful of us are moderators just to keep the comments going and kind. But yeah, it started by Fruitland community members that are there. Business owners are there. They're all there to help share and spread awareness, and many of these business owners have come together. They go and pick up these bracelets. There's a gal in, oh gosh, I don't know where Amber lives, I think Iowa, and she mails people posters on her own dime.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah, there's lots of people to connect with to find opportunities to help share Michael's face and his story, as well as support the initiative towards Amber Alert reform.
And like people that are doing that, people like that girl, they're the people we need to be talking about and pushing. Do you know,
Yep.
not the other crew. And how do you think, like, even going forward with trying to get Michael's story out there nationally?
Mm-hmm.
Like, has she been talking to anyone that you know, or anything in the pipeline for
Yes,
that?
she's got some interviews that she is entertaining. There's a couple of I know that there's one large content creator, provider, YouTuber creator, somebody that's trying to think of her name, but she's got like a huge following, and she wants to interview Brandy and sent some questions for her to answer beforehand. She's just, honestly, it's about some time, to get these things done. And people are so judgmental about what she's doing with her time, but look at everything else she's doing. So we're getting those questions answered for that interview. We do have a lead on Dateline. So if people want to hound someone, hound Dateline, because we have been hounding them. And an interview that Brandy did recently on another true crime podcast, I'm going to give her a plug, Lauren at Hidden, a true crime podcast. They are on YouTube. She interviewed Brandy, and she personally sent Brandy's story to the producers at Dateline that had recently interviewed them on Dateline. So the producers do have it. We are pushing it. We want to get it on Dateline. We would love if some of these outlets would do an updated story, like Nancy Grace, News Nation. News Nation actually tweeted me yesterday that they're looking into it and love to do an updated story. But we've been hitting these platforms. We just want them to say yes. And the family is more than willing to do interviews on national platforms.
Brilliant. So we'll probably see a lot more so in the next couple of weeks, 1 to 2.
I hope so. My hopes are, as I said, something like this, the work with the Amber Alert, the bill with Senator Abby Lee, like that's the kind of stuff that maybe Dateline would be interested in. So we're hopeful that, the decision makers will say yes, that they'll come to Idaho and do a story on Monkey. We really feel it'd be a huge platform. John Walsh, I think, ran it on his Facebook maybe, but it'd be great if we could actually get an interview. Anyone like that, just, here's permission. Please, please, please reach out on behalf of Monkey. We would love it if you do.
Yeah. And I think they'll start picking her up now. And like you alluded to earlier, if they think they're going to get, as sad as it is in some of these cases, but if they think they're going to get views and reach, they'll pick it up a bit faster,
It is. It's definitely a whole different monster than like local media, where I have more connections and I've worked with them before due to my, marketing event work there. So, KTVB is going to come out to the event this week and interview the parents, and they're, because it's local, they're so willing to stay on Michael's story, and they constantly run it, which we're so appreciative of. But yeah, it's a little harder to get it on the national outlets, but we're not going to stop trying.
Yeah. Come here, fair play to you. Thanks for everything you're doing. You're one of the good ones in this case.
Well, thank you for allowing me some time to talk about what we're doing with the Amber Alerts and missing person alerts here in Idaho, as well as trying to get Monkey's name out there, because that's what I'm working on. And we appreciate the opportunity.
I'm going to keep this going for Monday. So if there is any other updates you have, or anything at all that you want to come on to chat about Monkey, then feel free to use this platform or pop me an email.
I will.
That's brilliant. Come here, thanks very much, Lana, for popping up and taking the link there at short notice.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I totally forgot about the time change and everything from California to wherever you are in the world, Ireland. So I appreciate everyone listening tonight, and look forward to you guys joining the group and supporting us to find Monkey.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. I'll let you go, Alana. Thanks for that. Guys, will you make sure to go over to the Facebook group and give it a join. I was going to say give it a join.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks, Lana. Guys, that's brilliant, isn't it? But it just goes to show they're not. It's not all weasels out there. I'm actually buzzing with some of that stuff now. It's great. It's great. It is great to hear. And even I seen a few, Terry, I seen you in the chat there. You might be better off going back to the start if you jumped in late. I know you were asking about Chris McDonough, but it was just some of the calls at the start. And I think it's better off even like what we did tonight, just looking at it and addressing it, you know? This isn't the big drama that people are trying to make it out to be at all. And I just think it speaks to their own lack of knowledge and ignorance. There's one more thing I want to show you before I go, because I want to try and keep this. Oh, we're doing good, guys. 125. That's good. I assume a lot of you know whose birthday is. It is not. Sherry, is it your birthday? Oh my god. Happy birthday. Or the 29th. The 29th, we're too early, so I'm going backwards here in the chat. Happy early birthday. Trixie has the link for the petitions. Trixie, I'll find it afterwards. I was trying to find your account there to give you a wrench, but I couldn't find it. If you can paste it in there, I'll be able to copy and paste it back in, and then it'll be clicked by everyone. Hi, Brenda, you're off to miss it. You're off to missing the most of it. Sure, you can catch it on replay. I went head to head with the Josie interview tonight for the crack. But yeah, this was the last thing I wanted to bring up. I'm sure a lot of you know who Elizabeth Smart is. I'm not going to tell you too much about the story. If you don't, go back and just look it up. But this is a post that she did last week. Michelle, thank you so much. You're the reason why I started making videos. And I appreciate that and all you do. I'm a bit starstruck now, lads, I'm not going to lie. But this is a post that Elizabeth posted on the 12th of March. I have always believed in miracles, but today marks the 19th anniversary of the biggest miracle I ever experienced. I just wanted to briefly say thank you to everyone who helped rescue me. Thank you to those who prayed for me, searched for me, supported me all those years through today. I will forever be grateful. I am happy today and feel so lucky to have found my husband and best friend and to be the mother of my 3 babies. For a while, this dream felt far out of reach, in fact, completely unreachable. So today I want to say to all those still searching, you will always remain in my prayers, and I refuse to lose hope that your loved ones will be found. And to those still missing, don't give up. Miracles happen. You deserve to be found, rescued, and to live and to have happiness. And to finally, to those who are struggling along the way, no matter what point you find yourself, don't give up. You don't deserve to be hurt. You deserve to be believed, supported, loved, happy. Everyone has a story, challenges. You are not alone. God bless all of you. And I think Brandy did see that message. I think it was in the group. And I think anybody, the family, anybody following that case can take a lot from that. And let's hope in a couple of years' time that monkey will be making posts like this on Facebook. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it short tonight, guys, because that, I won't lie, that post has me rattled there a bit. So the one from Elizabeth, even just reading her out. If you don't know the story, check it out. Thanks so much to everyone for joining. Arctic, thank you so much. I just want to spring your page back up there again before I go, because I know I was saying at the start, but we'll have a lot more people on now. Guys, that's Arctic Fox's true crime page. I really want the man to get a community tab. You can see all the stuff there. All the missing kids he's talking about. And if you listen to one live stream, you realise the man has a good heart and isn't about any of the drama. But yeah, thanks so much for joining. Thanks for all the comments, being kind and respectful in the chat. Please don't engage with some of the nonsense that's out there. I know it's frustrating when you're looking at some of it and you're dying to react, but it's not worth it. Let's just keep the focus on Monkey. And that's it. I'll let you go. Because I'm at 131. We're getting more and more efficient, aren't we? Thanks, guys. Have a good night. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Good luck. God bless. Have a good night.